Hi, I'm Anthony Tucker, your host for Alumni Chat, class of 2007 grad, and I'm here with some friends. Sisters edition today, also Spa and Salon edition, and I successfully made it through those two S's. I won't tell you how many takes it took. So I'm here with Carly Walker, class of 2006, as well as Madison Mitchell, class of 2009. So ladies, like so much has changed in your life. So we'll kind of go down that journey and how you two have come together, two entrepreneurs just doing their thing, as well as talk about like high school. You know, that was a long time ago. And Carly and I were definitely in the same building for a while here. Brew Crew days. Was it cheer?
Yeah.
Yeah, cheer. Yeah. So she had to endure some long, cold nights at Custer Stadium where the final score would be about 66-3, and your boy would be out there kicking a 40-yard field goal, just looking pretty with long blonde hair.
There you go.
I cannot grow my hair that long anymore. Maybe I need to go see these ladies and see if there's some treatment. So talk to me about, Madison, let's start with you. So during your time here at high school, what are some of your fondest memories from BHS?
I would have to say probably cheering, and then I'm a talker.
Yeah.
I would always, teacher called my parents, you know, she's talking too much. They moved me next to the teacher. Next thing you know, me and the teacher in a deep conversation. So, conversating in the hallways.
More for the social scene.
Yes, social for sure. Just all the camaraderie here, and that was my favorite part of it, with all the cheerleaders, the football kids, all that, and seeing my friends every day.
Yeah.
That's my favorite.
Yeah, and we were so close knit, especially back when we were split, right? And we had our freshmen and sophomores over at the mid-high, and then juniors and seniors here at the senior high, which were in that building today. I don't know what classroom this was when we were here, but it's a lot cooler now because it's a studio. So, Carly, what was your favorite time?
Oh, man. I don't know if I can remember that far back, but I'm going to double up and say the same with Madison. We were both 100% in on the cheer aspect. That was pretty much my life. I did high school Bruin cheer, but we had a pretty dang good team my year. And
you did competitive as well.
And I did competitive cheer in Tulsa, so with the same coach that coached the Bartlesville team. So we were definitely busy between games and competitions, and it was fun, you know, and then we were such a tight-knit class. I think even the class below us, or below me, I'm the older one, we all knew each other, and I think we did get a little bit closer by being separated at the mid-high and then getting to come to the high school together. I don't know how it is now. It still confuses me that the mid-high is now Madison?
And Madison is now gone.
And Madison is now gone. And then Central is still Central. Okay. And then what grades are here at the high school?
So 9th through 12th.
Yeah.
So we have a freshman academy,
so
which
we just took out the mid-high.
We took out the mid-high.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. You learned something.
You learn something every day. So there's roughly about 1,800 kids, including our alternative high school, which is called Bruin Academy, which is housed over in the old classrooms in the Custer Stadium. So we used to have classes over there. Like I had history.
I think.
Psych was over there. Miss Stats was over there for a little bit. Shout out Miss Stats.
Yes, shout out to Miss Stats.
Yeah.
One of my favorites.
And, you know, I graduated with John and with her son.
Yes,
he played football with me and then played baseball. So, so good times over there. Yeah. And it's still going strong.
Yeah.
I was just over there the other day. The Truity Credit Union was up doing mock interviews for those kiddos. And
awesome.
It was really cool for them to go. Like, they had to apply to a fake job beforehand.
I love
Go
that.
through it. And then there was a rubric. And then they got feedback from the talent and retention team from Truity. So
wow,
that's going to benefit them so much, I feel like.
Yeah.
I know.
That would be amazing for all the kids to be able to get to do that.
There's so many things that our kids, I think, are blessed with now that back then it was like very traditional format, and now it's like kids are leaving all the time, you know, for concurrent or internship or whatever they have going on. So there's continuity wise sometimes that culture struggles because kids aren't all here at the same time like we were.
Right.
Like we were with each other in all those classes, like whether we liked it or not. Yeah. But it is cool. The opportunities, our cup definitely, you know, is full.
Oh yeah.
And it's because of our community. So speaking of community, you guys have come together, right?
Yes.
I know that, you know, Carly, we had kind of talked beforehand and definitely through social media that, you know, kind of had a health scare, triumphed through that.
Yes.
So glad that you're here with us and because like it's crazy because you and I went to school and I was just like, it feels like yesterday.
I know.
And then that happened and I was like, holy smokes, like life is crazy.
Life is crazy, and you know, something like that, you know, you don't expect to happen to you, and when it does, I think you are given a bigger perspective on life.
Yeah.
And so I think that's what kind of pushed
Yeah,
me
for
and
sure.
my sister. You know, I've always loved my sister. We're like best
Let's put it on the record. It is December.
everybody know.
on the record.
Yes.
I have always loved my sister.
Yeah.
But I do think that this experience has 100% brought us closer together. I tease with her all the time that I had always been begging her, like, why don't we do business together?
Yeah.
And she just would roll her eyes and be like, because you don't do business with a family.
And here we are.
It's true 9 out of 10 times. But yeah.
But you know what? It is actually, I'm having the time of my life. I love working with her. Like, I can't even go a day without talking to her. Like if I'm off on a day, I still call her in the mornings just to check in.
Even if she has nothing to say.
I have nothing to
Good
say.
morning.
Yeah. Good morning. What are you doing?
Yeah.
So it has been a blessing. You know, you can always find the light in darkness. You know, 100.
Yeah.
100%.
Yeah.
And it's crazy, kind of how our career paths led to this. Prior to being an esthetician, I was actually a nurse for many years, and through, you know, years and experience and moving, and you know, I had just decided to make a career change. And honestly, I didn't know what I wanted to do. I wanted to do something that still was helping the community, but now I realize doing what I do in aesthetics is you get to help people, but on their good days, not their bad days, which I much rather prefer. And then it's kind of funny, Madison's history, before she was a hairstylist.
I worked at the health insurance company.
Yeah.
But she is the one who pushed me. She's
Yeah.
like, you need to go do hair. And you told me that for a long time.
Yeah.
And I was like,
She was always good at it.
yeah, I was like, I don't know if I really want to do that. And then with the company I was working for, they had a buyout, and I was like, you know what? Now's the time. I'll go to school for it. And she was my biggest hype girl. She hyped me up.
Yeah.
And it is kind of crazy just how
Everything.
God works, honestly, the way that we started in completely different fields, and here we are. And after this health scare, it kind of just, it made sense for us to come together. And like from just an outsider looking in, I feel like you can't look at that and not think it wasn't God.
Yeah.
It was amazing.
And I think, you know, definitely people believe that because the way that you two came together, you know, spawning from something that was so tragic
Yes.
and, you know, everybody was tuned into, like I said, like it was so real because like Carly is my age.
Yeah, yeah.
And once you guys came together, it was like, oh, this is meant to be. So you guys are located, so you guys have your space, and I'm trying not to mess up the name with the S's again. So Elevate Salon and Spa.
Yes.
Yes.
It's at the intersection of Adams and Johnstone.
Yes.
Right across from the police department and the library.
Yes.
So let's go back before you found that location, before you guys came together, right? And divine intervention happened. Like, you're talking about being in health insurance. That sounds awful. I think like health insurance to me is like trying to put together two puzzles mixed together. And it's like, this doesn't make sense.
Well, it was very corporate, and then I went very not corporate
Yes.
after that for reasons. So yeah, I've been much happier, and it's just health insurance is,
It's
it
its own
doesn't matter
animal.
what day it is. It's never a fun job.
No, I can imagine.
No offense to anybody that's
Yes.
in it.
Right.
To those out there in a very large alumni network, if you're working in health insurance, keep doing what you're doing.
Yes.
We support you.
We support you. And we'll also send a gift card.
Yes.
It's in the mail, as
We
my
know
grandma
you
used
need
to say.
some self-care.
Yes. So talk to me, like, after high school, you graduate high school.
Yes.
Like, did you go right into working in health insurance, or like what happened there?
No, so right after my senior year, I actually got hired on through the hospital, and I was working in their billing office. I worked for them for 3 years, and then the last year I was with them, I actually was brought onto the health insurance company part-time, and then they decided to pull me on full-time, and I was with them for 6 years, and then they had the buyout, and that's when I decided to start doing hair.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you're balancing kids at the same time?
Yes. Balancing kids. I also took online classes while I was at the health insurance company for my business management and accounting degree. So I was able to do that as well. And then, like I said, I think it's a God thing. I don't know why. I just felt like I needed to do that. And that business management and accounting degree has now paved a way for us to start this business as well. So
thank goodness she did that, because I am not. That is
Numbers.
not my forte.
I love spreadsheets.
Yeah. I just think of the character Alan from Hangover, right? With all the numbers when he's like trying to be like Rain Man to win all the money back. And it's just like, blah, 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 it's like going in front of him. So yeah, definitely that's you.
That's Madison. Yes.
So like how, as a mom, like how are you able to continue to balance that and be an entrepreneur? Like what are some of the challenges that you face today?
Very little sleep.
Very little sleep.
Very little social life. But I love what I do so much, and the kids love it, and I love for them to be able to see from starting from scratch and building that it is possible. And they ask me tons of questions. They love it, and they always want to come up to the spa. But it's been difficult, but so worth it.
Yeah.
I couldn't imagine doing anything else, and without their support too. They're my biggest support.
And I had Whitney Verdon on on the show for season 1, and that was part of the story that almost started crying, because she's talking about her kids being part of her growth, and then helping her reflect, because that's the hardest thing as an entrepreneur, is that reflecting on where you're at, where you've been, and where you want to go, and having the patience to be like, you know what, and the humility sometimes. Hey,
absolutely.
I've grown, or maybe not as much as I wanted, but look where we're at now.
And that's kind of, I'll be honest, it was very humbling whenever the health insurance company got bought out, I was a full-grown adult with 2 children having to start completely over, and just a testament to them. Like, I want them to see, especially with everything that happened to Carly, life throws you curveballs.
For sure.
You always get back up. And you never let what people say bother you. You do what you want to do for what's best for you and your family. And I love that they're getting to see that. And they get to see the struggles of it. It's not all, rainbows and unicorns, but they see that. And I think that's going to help better them as they grow too.
Yeah, it's real, and it's, we talk about learning within the classroom, and like we talked about earlier, is service-based learning, getting out of the classroom and going to experience. But when you see it day to day, from behind the scenes, it's so important. And to your point, like sometimes you have that divine intervention, right, that kind of shifts you. For me, it's like you have to have, like, what are your beliefs, what you stand for, and you don't waver from that, right?
No, you have to have that foundation.
And you have to put your family first. I know for me, like, coming back to Bartlesville, I don't think it was ever truly in the cards. Like, my mom's here. She lives 2 blocks from me now.
Yeah.
Most of my sisters are here. I have 3 sisters, and 2 of them are here. But yeah, I mean, I was in California making really great money, doing stuff like what I do today. But for a large company, and it's like, but I had to come back. It wasn't right? There were some things I disagreed with, and I just didn't catch the flight. I was back in Oklahoma, and there's a Tim McGraw song. It talks about, like, there's flights I didn't catch, like, and that was one. And sometimes, money will come and go, but how you make people feel, and at the end of the day, your mental health and sanity and your beliefs and your convictions are going to be what carries you on.
Absolutely.
And everything's a season. Like, everything's
really
a season.
is.
And I think when we're younger, speaking of when we were all together at the high school, like, we don't see it. We just want that grade to happen. We want that relationship to happen. We want the Bruins to win on Friday night against Jinx. Ain't gonna happen. But you know what I'm saying? Like, and it just takes time. I think once you realize, like I'm always a person that likes that video, like, where it zooms out and shows how small we really are.
Right. Yeah.
It's like it zooms out and shows the whole planet.
Perspective.
Yes.
Yeah.
It puts it into perspective, and it's like, you know what? I play a piece. I'm a cog in the wheel.
Yes.
But I am an important piece of that.
Yeah,
and
absolutely.
And with kids, I mean, it's so hard, right?
And I think that's kind of where we came to the conclusion on choosing to do what we want to do in order to be happy, to be able to fill our cups for our families and have, some left over for the ones that are closest to us that we love. I will say, in nursing, as much as I loved it, my cup coming home, I was empty.
Yeah.
And I had nothing left to give because I was giving it all. So this transition into this career that I'm doing, and like Madison said, it doesn't feel like we go to work now.
Yeah.
And we get to, being able to, in a way, be in the community, talking to the community and having relationships with our clients. It's fills our cup just as much as, them coming in to see us fills theirs.
Yeah.
So one of our biggest goals for every client that comes to see us is we do promote self-care because it is so important, especially in today's world. And, I only wish for everyone that they are able to realize their truth and, stick with their convictions of, what is right for them, but that they are happy in what they're doing, so that is something that we try to focus on, as being that cog in the wheel, that's our contribution.
Yeah.
It might be small, but I think it matters.
Yeah. And especially like Father Time is undefeated. So,
right.
We have stopping him.
Yeah. No one's stopping him. This isn't season 2 of Loki, which made no sense to be on Disney Plus. I gave up after episode 1 and I'm a Loki, Loki's my favorite Marvel character. And I was like, nah. So if my mom is watching, Mom, please, I would like a Loki helmet for Christmas. I'm not kidding. Which my daughter will definitely use to abuse my other one. Yes. So that will not work. Do not scratch it. But like we have this like limited time, and I think once you understand mortality and you understand the humility of life, then you're okay. You feel like you could breathe. I mean, but time goes like this. Like the other day we had this Future of the Ville series that we're putting on, and my buddy Chris Batchelder was here, class of 1991, and I brought up, running for state Congress in 2014 and like my mid-20s, and like it was a whole different space and time for me before kids.
Right.
So great sleep, binge Netflix. But it's just like, he was like, man, like that seems like a lifetime ago. Like I didn't even know you did all that. And I was like, yeah, they don't come back around, but... And it's just like you become a different person, and you're okay with it.
Yeah.
And you know that your time will come. If you trust in the process. Like,
absolutely.
I'm not to sound like you probably like NBA, like Philadelphia 76ers, they have a thing, they say trust the process.
Yeah.
So they purposely lost and were the worst team for like 5 years in the NBA. Didn't work out. They didn't win an NBA championship, but I trust the bigger process, not the 76ers. So it's so crazy. So talking about the process, so somebody comes in, they come to your new salon and spa. Like what is, like if they're going through a full workup and they're going to see both of you, what are some things that they can expect to go through and experience?
Oh man, we have so many services that we'll be offering. As a lot of people know, we are going to be offering the Asian Head Spa. That is a new service, very new just to this industry, really. We will start offering that come January, but that includes the scalp scrub, a detoxification, an oil treatment and conditioning treatment. It includes a massage, a facial. So that is more the relaxation, but also a treatment.
Yeah.
Which kind of pulls the skincare, hair care in together. So both her and I will be offering those services.
Yes. And then Carly, she does the facials, the full body waxing, lashes, eyebrows, lifts and tints. And then me, I'm focusing color specialist, working on colors and extensions, haircuts. You get a little bit of everything. Yes, updos, wedding dos, formal updos. I feel like it touches on a little bit of everything, on all the self-care. No matter what, when you come to see us, you will be feeling amazing. Yeah. And that's our goal. We want you to feel confident in yourself. Mental health is such a big deal right now. Yeah. And while coloring your hair is not a necessity, a facial is not a necessity, your mental health is.
Yes.
And people can do that different ways. And just being able to come and relax when the outside world is so busy is so important, I feel like.
It's nice to be able to take a step back and, whether it's just getting to sit back and have a conversation with Madison or getting to just decompress with me, enjoy a facial in silence, listening to some spa music, and I also want to, as much as we promote self-care for women, this place is for men too.
Absolutely.
Self-care is just as important for men, and I know there's a little bit of a stigma on, with men not being as comfortable as coming in for those things, but with the head spa, I'm hoping that will encourage men to come in, because not only is it great for the hair, but it's great for circulation in the scalp. So it's going to help
regrow. Hair regrowth, absolutely.
Regrowth.
We're in our later 30s now, guys. So
yes, those are things that we think
I know.
about. You're definitely not struggling. You're
you
good,
have a full head of hair.
Yes.
You cursed me now.
I know.
It's only like one
Knock on wood.
Yeah, it's like only one family member I can think of that has hair on the male side.
Is it you?
Well, yes, with the fire today, Madison, with the fire. At this point, yes, living, yes. So fingers crossed on that.
Yes.
Because like I feel like I grow my hair out really long on top, and then I always shave it like once, like every 18 months. I don't know why. And then my wife's like, "Why do you do this?" And I'm like, "I don't know. It's just a cycle.
Yeah.
It'll grow back stronger,
Trust
right?
the process,
Trust
right?
it's a guy, you know. We just need speed stick, and that'll work, and some got to be glued from Walmart. So when you get that going, I'll come out.
You might have to try it out.
We'll come out. We'll do
we
a real.
encourage the guys to come out and give it a try.
And
Yes.
she offers men's facials too, and a lot of her acne treatments. We've had a couple of males come in, and their skin has dramatically changed.
Just being able to provide the education.
Yeah.
I know with all the teenagers today, skincare is like almost a fad right now. Like when we were kids, I was putting sea breeze on my face, like basically melting it off. And that was our education. But kids are able to educate themselves so much better on on how to take care of themselves and wearing the sunscreen. It just amazes me what they're using. And I'm like, man, if I would have only known.
Yes.
But we can help, the millennials and everyone else. We can, help to educate you guys and catch you up with what the teens already know today. And it makes a huge difference. And even just a little change in your skincare or self-care is what you can refer to it as, makes a huge difference.
Yeah. And we've definitely, I think it's like Gen Y. So we have Gen Y, right? Gen Z, Gen Alpha, and then Gen Beta starts next year. I know it's like, the millennials, and then we were like the young ones, and now time has flown by, speaking of time. But that's like that stigma. Like you just have to remove that barrier and be like, you know what, you have to take time to reflect, like we were talking about earlier, and to really invest in yourself.
Yes.
And to pause. And I think a lot of men, they just kind of bottle things up for sure. I think Darius, speaking of country music, Darius Rucker has a great song, right, about what it's like to be a dad and to be a man. And, not that women and men don't share those responsibilities within a relationship, whether married or divorced, like with kids, but like men just don't reflect and take that time. They don't have girlfriends that they connect with or a sister. It's more like, I'm all right. It is what it is. So you definitely need those moments, because that's the only way you're going to continue to grow, or else that will prevent you. It'll be a block. It'll be a roadblock for you. So speaking of outfits, Carly, you brought this up, so we'll go there. Talk about what was your go-to outfit back in the day. So you were a cheerleader, and yes, both of you were. But what was your going out outfit? What was the style back then? 2006, Carly.
Was that mud jeans?
Is this before we did bedazzled jeans?
Oh no!
Yeah, I think
you would wear the big gaudy.
Sister's telling facts here.
The costume jewelry. Do you remember? And the gauchos.
Oh my gosh, gauchos!
They need to bring those back.
Oh.
No, please don't.
Jinkos. We need Jinkos back. Lots of them.
And
I was a Jinko wearer.
So was I. We both resembled little boys in elementary school.
I want to say it was the bell bottoms, though, and embarrassingly enough,
You're wearing them today.
I'm wearing them today.
Full circle.
I will say a lot of the 90s trends I see in a ton of the kids. When my daughter walks out the door, I'm like, what?
The Von Dutch.
Is that coming back?
Yeah. I've seen Von Dutch coming back, and
the trucker hats.
Those were a big thing back in the day.
They were so cool.
Yeah.
And the juicy couture velour.
I think Mean Girls with the mom wearing the juicy sweatpant outfit.
That's all I think of. But I'm not gonna lie, I had a maroon set, and I wore that.
Hey.
I think to school.
Yeah. And things were different back then. Like skinny jeans and slims weren't so big for guys.
Yeah.
It was more just like American Eagle, Abercrombie and Fitch.
Yes, Hollister.
Yes, like graphics that made 0 sense, like whatever was on it. Now I feel like I've changed so much. Like I don't like any any type of text. Like I just want soft cotton.
Exactly.
We got our fill.
Yeah, it's like I live that era. I don't need it, and I don't need to smell like Abercrombie and Fitch cologne.
Yeah.
I remember working out in the morning with football and then just dousing it on before I come up.
Showering in it.
Yeah, just showering and maybe skipping the shower.
Yeah.
And then just doing that. I'm like, nobody will know. And then be like, this is pretty strong.
Sitting in the classroom, getting a headache.
You're like, what is going on? So what was your go-to outfit?
Pretty much the same, because I would steal all my sister's clothes.
Yeah.
I would, little fun fact, she would ask me to wake her up in the morning, but I would make sure and grab her clothes before I woke her up.
You had to be very strategic about
Yes,
that.
yes.
She did, because she left before I did, but she also got home.
A little earlier.
Well, how did I catch you, though?
Because I would get stains on your clothes.
Oh, that's right. Yeah. I'll never forget that Christmas sweater.
Yeah.
I didn't ever even get to wear it.
I know, and it's so funny, like sibling interaction, like rapping right now with you two ladies, but like my middle sister, Courtney, she still brings up that I dropped a can of green beans on her toe from the pantry. You did it on purpose. Like, I'm 36 now and you just turned 30. When are we going to let this go? But it's like those little things.
Yeah.
But they used to chase me with hangers down the hallway because I had all sisters. What was I going to do, right? I wasn't a big bully, you know? And they're
I don't know. Sisters can be brutal.
They can.
I'm a survivor now.
You are.
And now I have 2 girls myself.
Yeah.
So so I'm like the only male, unless my cousins come back from the farm in Indiana. Like it's just me waving my flag at holiday dinners. I'm like, well, let's say grace, guys.
Yeah.
Is it okay if we do that?
Yeah.
Let's work this out. Are you okay? So
I'm going to be really great at reading women.
yeah, I think
If you aren't already.
That was
already a pro.
Wasn't that a Mel Gibson movie? What Women Want?
What women want.
Yeah. I thought that was a real thing. I guess it wasn't. Men are very difficult as well, number one. I say that, and it's just like, I want time to watch football and go to bed at a decent time.
Yeah. And good food.
Good food.
Good food. It does not take much.
So speaking of food, so we had off-campus lunch back in the day.
Oh, I know. I loved that.
Where was your go-to place
Taco Bueno.
Taco Bueno.
Taco Bueno was
Chacos.
my jam.
So we always went to one of our buddies' house. I think you might have played football with him, Tyler Hopkins.
Uh-huh.
He lived not far from the high school, and his mom always had like either a crock pot or just her house was always stocked. Like looking back now, I feel so bad. Like that woman was feeding like a high school, but we'd go to his house all the time and eat pizza rolls or whatever soup she had or sandwiches. It was great.
I'm still convinced that pizza rolls get as hot as lava.
Yeah.
Like if you're really hungry, you put them in the microwave, you get them out, and you just throw them in your mouth. You go, holy smokes!
And I never learned my lesson.
No, it's like that in Hot Pockets.
Right back.
I do too.
Right back to the heat.
So when we were in high school, there used to be this place that you could go earn $20 for taste testing over in Eastland.
I remember. Yeah.
Yes. And we would do Hot Pockets, and they'd always bring them out like scorching hot. It'd be like me and my buddies from football, and we'd go after practice, and you had to eat it then. It was like the rule. And I'm like, I don't know what it tastes like. It tastes like lava. Like there's no
my
difference.
Taste buds are burned off.
Yes, I'm not gonna be able to eat dinner with this $20, which went a lot further back then. But so speaking of kind of that era, what was your go-to song? Like you get in the car.
Oh man.
Fergalicious.
Fergalicious. Oh, Ferg.
Black Eyed Peas and Fergie. And
I think Rascal Flatts was big.
we went to a Rascal Flatts concert.
We did.
Mm-hmm.
That guy's got a beautiful voice.
He does.
He does.
Yeah.
Just a cappella, no auto-tune needed, right?
No.
Speaking of auto-tune, T-Pain. He is so talented. Back in our day, there was a lot of auto-tune.
T-Pain can sing too. He had to prove that recently. He went broke and then came back.
Yeah.
I don't know how he lost
True
all that
artists.
money. It's like Mike Tyson. He lost almost $500 million and then came back and then
Is
had
that why he did that fight?
Oh,
here
the fake
recently?
fight? Yeah.
Was it a
fake fight?
Come on. Iron
didn't
Mike,
watch it.
Iron Mike can knock that boy out any day of the week.
Yeah.
There were sometimes he's like getting ready to smash him and he's like, oh wait, I'm not supposed to do this. And his Mike Tyson voice, which I will not try to imitate.
But you can hear it in your head.
Yes. that video of him getting a kiss on the cheek after the fight, I don't know if you guys saw it. It lives rent free. You'll have to Google it. I'm not telling everyone to Google it, but it is hilarious. I think for me, like Rascal Flatts a little bit. Like what hurts.
Canadian ragweed.
Oh, that was good. The boys from Oklahoma.
How did I not think of that? Like I was obsessed.
Yeah.
Obsessed. Went to concerts. Like that was like the anthem of high school.
And the DVDs they would put out from their concerts, like my buddy Tyler Edwards, like him and his brother Tanner and his and Tia and Troy's mom and dad, like they were all like on like the outro of the video of them just hanging out with the band.
Really?
Like, he'd put it in and be like, "Hey, look, it's me right here," and I'm like, "I guess that's a pretty good pickup line, T. Like, I guess that works. You hung out with Cross Canadian Ragweed."
You know, I had a few friends that would use that because they got to hang out after a show or something, and they still tell the story today.
Yeah.
So it's bragging rights.
It was. You actually had to work on pickup lines back then?
Right.
You can just Google them or look them up or someone on Facebook.
Yeah, or just send snaps. Like, I still don't understand snaps.
Yeah.
But, you actually be like, "Hey, what's up, Carly? How's life going?" Like, have some authentic interaction.
Yeah, it forced you to have that conversation back then.
And it was very awkward.
Always.
I tell my intern about all the stupid stuff that I did. And I'm like, I try to be like mix of like The Bachelor, like reality. Like I remember one time there was a girl that was on Palm that I can think of off the top of my head, and I won't call her out because we're all married and moved on with children. But like I remember like the guys like dropping me off at Sooner Park, and I had like 24 roses, which I'd got from my buddy who had worked at Albertsons or whatever it was called back then.
So sweet,
that is sweet.
But then like she ended up dating some dude in college that was already in college while we were still in high school, and then she just threw him out the window, and I had to walk back to Oak Park, and then finally somebody picked me up because I was too poor. I didn't have a phone and I didn't have a cell phone, but it wasn't always great. But
but at least you shot your shot.
I shot my shot, and I did that after a football game too. I ran up to one girl and then just kissed her right in front of the whole community.
Oh, wow.
So like,
I don't remember that.
Of course we had lost, but I kicked a couple field goals thanks to the boys on the line in the trenches. So I just took off my helmet and then just like long hair. It was more like
you were feeling it.
I was feeling it. What's that show? Not Gilmore Girls, but Chad Michael Murphy was in it.
Yeah, I don't know.
They just had a reunion. Speaking of time flying, they had a reunion and they replayed the basketball game.
Girl?
That's what I was thinking. Gossip Girl.
We'll say that era, but I was like, oh, I'll just live that, and then pulled it off, and then ran over there, dropped my kicking bag, like that was manly, like me carrying my own bag of balls and tees, and I just dropped that and just gave her a kiss right in front of everybody, which on that cold night was probably only like 1,000 people. But I feel like you had to do those like big acts back in the day.
Gestures.
Versus like, oh, you like 3 of my photos and you found my spam account and like those. I'm like, what is a spam account? I just have me. It's just American Tuck. Online, you just find me. Like, I don't know what it is. I got nothing to hide. So those was a whole different era.
Yeah. Even the girls, when we asked the guys to Sadie Hawkins, I got brave and asked a guy in front of the whole school. Used the cheer squad as
at the pep rally, right?
At the pep rally.
Ah, that was high risk back then.
That was high risk. I was so nervous.
Honestly, it feels like a completely different world. Just sitting here talking about all the things we did and how different it is. Like, excuse me, do they even do the Sadie Hawkins anymore?
I'll look off the screen at my intern right now. I don't think so, but she has a boyfriend, so she's like, I'm good.
She's like, no.
That's so crazy to me.
I don't think so, but I will say, there's another crazy story. There were 2 girls, like my best friend was Brenda Riggs, and so Riggs and I went to football one day, and they had used one of our coaches to deliver, it was like, I don't know, chocolates or something to ask us. But I had already asked someone to go with me, who turned out to be my wife now. And so like,
shout out Megan.
Yeah, shout out Meg. So like, I feel bad. There's another awkward interaction because of those girls. Like, I had to tell them, be like, yeah, we're not, because for some reason Brenda didn't go with the other girl. Be like, yeah, we're not gonna go, but thanks for the chocolate. Do you want it back?
Do you want your chocolate?
Unfortunately, it looks like Riggs has already opened his. I can give you mine though, But it was good. Like, you just had to like live through those experiences.
That's how you grow.
You do grow. And speaking of growing, where do you ladies hope to be in 5 years?
You want to take that one? You want me to?
Go for it.
We have kind of a plan set out, and we're really hoping to either open a second location after getting the head spa going, and we would like to expand outside of Bartlesville eventually, because I just wanted to also touch on this. I feel like kind of back in the day, the industry we're in, cosmetics, like esthetician, cosmetology, hair, that wasn't as popular as it is now.
Yeah.
It wasn't a job everyone was seeking, you know? And I think it's really important that if you find what you love, you can be so successful at it. If you are determined, if you love going to work every day, that's going to speak volumes. And since doing that, just like building our clientele and everything and coming together,
We'd love to share that with
Yeah.
more people
Yeah,
who share
I
the passion that we have. So the idea of being able to grow and expand is really exciting because
Yeah.
we want to be able to share that. It's basically like just getting to hang out with friends all day.
Yeah.
Is what
it
it
truly
feels
is,
like.
yeah.
Yeah.
So, but we want to share that with the community. We want to grow. We want to have multiple locations and hopefully go outside of Bartlesville.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think, to your point in kind of empowering that next generation of professionals within your industry, like that has to start from having young ladies like yourself talk to other people and empower kids now, because I feel like there was, speaking of stigmas and roadblocks, back in the day it was like college or nothing.
Exactly.
And I will say that has shifted so drastically.
Oh, the trades are so much more prominent nowadays. I love it. I absolutely love that because
The idea of being your own boss is what drives, I think, everyone now.
Yeah.
And being in an industry like this, you do get more of a chance to be your own boss and make your own decisions and set your own schedules, which is, attractive to especially the younger kids. But not having that education or somebody to talk to about that or to show them that, these are the things that you can do. You don't have to do the traditional 4 years and, then interns and then end up somewhere that you might not want to be, or maybe you do.
And even if there are students out there today that are thinking, I want to go to college, but I'm also interested in this, like, come talk to us. We would love to answer questions. We would love to show people.
And we encourage you to do both.
Yeah.
I encourage everyone, try everything.
Yeah.
I went to college. I changed my major 3-4 times.
Yeah.
Landed on nursing.
Yeah.
And then I changed careers. And one thing I wish I could have told my younger self was just try different jobs.
Yeah.
Like, even if you're not sure about it, go get that job. Try it. See if you like it, because it's now that you can make those decisions before your feet get too planted. You know what I mean? Without having that feeling of having to start over, which in starting over is totally okay. We all go through it at some point in our life. But, trying to make it easier for the younger, just
step outside of your comfort zone.
Step outside of your
best
comfort
things
zone.
that have ever happened to me personally is when I step outside of my comfort zone. Whenever I do the hard thing, the scary thing, the uncomfortable, awkward thing, it usually pays off. And you never know unless you try. Like, you have to get out there and try.
Going back to shoot your shot. You got to shoot your shot.
Absolutely,
And I think that's why I'm so comfortable in what I do, is because we grew up doing stuff like that. And we were encouraged by people. Like, I had Miss T, Miss Tresner here at the high school. And Jeff Neptune and I started Video Yearbook back. And, that was a lot of opportunities for us. And then we were on live TV a couple times. And then I ended up doing that in my marketing career as a director and manager of different brands. Like, you just have to try, and it's not going to be linear growth, right? It's not always going to be positive, and it's okay to have that humility and reflect on failures, or maybe not where you think you could have performed at the highest level, but just keep going. And I will say that our kids now, like I talked about at the top of the show, is they do have flexibility, and a lot of that is through the change in how career tech is with Tri-County Tech and other career techs throughout the state, is that now we have morning and afternoon tech for different programs. Some programs are both,
That's
right,
cool.
to accommodate kids within both Washington, Nowata, and Osage counties. Whereas back then, it was if you played athletics, like, you couldn't go to tech.
Right.
Yeah.
You were locked in.
Yep.
And there were different things that I wish I could have done, because I feel like, to your guys' point, like, you've got to be locked and loaded with like a hard skill, as well as like continuing that education if you want to go down that path. And then if you reset, I went to law school. I dropped out of law school to run for state Congress. Like, things change. Like, it's okay. And then went back to school at night, back when you couldn't do online, and was there till like 10:30. 2 days, 3 days a week, like, getting my master's in leadership. Like, it works out. Like,
also think a lot of kids nowadays, too, think they have to have everything figured out after they graduate high school. And, man, I'm here to tell you that has never really happened for many people I know. So it just give it time. Like you said, peaks and valleys through your life. You learn more, and you miss every shot you don't take.
Yeah, that is very true. And who I was then, especially like I was playing soccer, that was my gateway to being the first in my family to go to college and to get a bachelor's and a master's. But who I was then was completely different. Like I was just so focused on the wrong things as a freshman in college. One of the best players in the conference. Like I was not focused in the classroom by any means.
Right.
And then that completely changed by the time I graduate undergrad. Like I completely flipped. But it takes sometimes divine intervention or something happening. For me, it was like I was in Mississippi playing at a Division II school, and then I fell into like a 12-foot, 14-foot hole trying to walk back home. And my knee was never the same. So and then they cut everything, and then I had to ride the bus back. So, so there's some trauma, but it made me a better person. Yeah. And then I had to come back home and rebuild myself and feel that sometimes it's okay to feel embarrassed, because that's the push, right? If you feel like awkward in your stomach, you have that weird butterflies, it's okay. You're going through a change process, and just go through it.
That's when you know growth is coming. Yeah. Whenever you have those failures. And I don't like to look at failures as a failure. I look at it as a learning experience
or
and for
another
growth.
Door opening.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's just God telling us that's not where you're supposed to be right now. Yeah.
So let's wrap up with this. Tell me, what do you think the #1 movie at the box office was in 2006? We'll start with Carly.
I have no idea.
Think about a man with great hair, lots of tattoos, very eccentric, mercurial person.
Oh my goodness.
All I can think of is
Johnny Depp.
There you go. Ding, ding, ding. Pirates of the Caribbean.
Pirates of the Caribbean.
Was #1 at the box office. Also, Talladega Nights came out during that year in 2006.
Okay.
So where do I put my hands, Ricky Bobby?
Right.
2009.
I really want to say Napoleon Dynamite, but I feel like that was before.
I think that was 2005? 4 or 5?
Twilight.
I would say you're right with Twilight, because I think 2008 was Iron Man, and I would definitely say Twilight. That was a whole vibe.
Yeah.
Shout out to Miss Williams. I wasn't a big reader. I didn't love to read.
Yeah.
My language arts teacher, she was like, Madison, you just try this series and see.
Yeah.
I rolled my eyes reluctantly and was like, okay. And I got hooked on that immediately.
The Twilight series?
Yeah. And
We
I was
all
like,
did.
I don't absolutely hate reading anymore.
Yeah.
And then the movie came out, so that's what makes me think it was Twilight at
So
the time.
Team Jacob or Team Edward?
Oh my gosh.
If you are Team Edward, you need to leave this room. That's all I'm going to say.
Well, and Team Jacob, didn't he marry somebody with the same name?
Taylor? Yeah.
Taylor and Taylor?
Yeah.
Taylor
like
and
that.
Taylor. Yeah. That's weird. So they have the same name.
That would get so confusing.
Yeah, I'm out on that. So
we're inviting the Taylors to Christmas.
Taylors are both coming, because I feel like, speaking of women and men, sometimes women have a list ideal who is gonna be my spouse.
Yeah.
But if I had a list, is don't marry somebody with the same name. That's it. And they have to like gravy and Buffalo Wild Wings. There's 3, and that's it. And luckily, Meg will put up with Buffalo Wild Wings. I know she probably hates it, but she gets honey barbecue wings, so God bless her.
Same.
Well, I'm just dousing it hot. She's like, you're not going to feel great after this.
Habanero.
Oh, yes.
Yes.
You said those Hot Pockets burned, or the pizza rolls burned all the taste buds off, so.
I'm just, whatever, it works. Yeah. And then a nice cold Baja Blast.
Oh, those are amazing.
Those are amazing.
No, you don't like them. I love them.
Oh, my gosh. Well, it's been amazing to catch up with both of you.
Yes, thank you for having us.
We stretch back 20-some years now,
Don't age us.
You never ask. I was just telling a young man the other day, I was like, never call a lady old and never ask her age, even if she looks like she's 99. You just don't do it. I said, do you want to be married someday, son?
Right.
Because you're not starting off too hot. So, so besides my rules for how to be a gentleman in 2020, let me tell you, it's been an honor to have you two on the show, and we look forward to our next episode of Alumni Chat. See you later. Go Bruins.